My name is Kiel Barnekov. I'm the author of Shepherds of Destiny and Shepherds of Destiny 2. I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area. My parents were federal workers. My dad was CIA and naval intelligence, and my mom worked for several agencies, federal government agencies. And so it was a good place to grow up. Who will benefit most from reading the books? Certainly fans of science fiction. That's the master genre, if you will, but there's a lot of history. There's medical fiction in there. The book is seated not too far in the future. And with the relative speed we're seeing development of things like AI, all of a sudden in the news all at once, that's basically the science fiction fan is really, but also historical fiction, medical fiction is all in there. Inspiration, that came from probably several places. First of all, I give credit to my grandmother, Fleur Conkling, who's an author herself, was an author. And in fact, her books are still published on Amazon. And then, of course, I would say other major authors. One of my favorites is Stephen King. We actually have a signed copy of one of his books that we're treasuring as long as we can. And then, of course, other science-oriented individuals. And then finally my wife. I mean, she kept telling me the whole time I was working full-time, oh, you need to write, And I was like, I don't have time. And then I retired, I finally started doing it and enjoyed it. So. Well, it started out, I had a colleague at Delta Airlines, actually he was a pilot, that came down with ALS and ultimately passed away. So the theory or the idea that came from him, from that experience, was what if we could preserve the mind of someone? Because ALS, if it affects the mind at all, it's at the very, very end. Most of the time it's just the body that ceases to function over a varying period of time. And I would say probably that experience is where I got the motivation to write the book. And so everything else just kind of came into place, I guess. Yeah, I believe there's some life-changing information in the book that my audiences will appreciate and enjoy. And one of them is certainly that evil is ever present. It's out there. It's intent on destroying humanity. But that with faith, with hard work, with belief, it can be defeated. And that's probably one of the major messages in the book. The reason I wrote a sequel is that I really, once I finished book one, and book one was actually a culmination of two much shorter books that I put together as one and republished it. And even at that point, I felt like there was a lot more to the story. So that's why I went with writing book two, because there was a lot more information. The other part of it too that was interesting is I was able to further develop the relationship of the characters and things like that in there. So, and that was kind of, there was even a little bit more romance in book two than there was in book. How crucial is a book signing? I think certainly the exposure is fantastic. And I know there's a lot of interested parties wandering around, and as we can see. And hopefully we'll have quite a few come by and sign and get a book, and read it, and hopefully they'll enjoy it.